Good day, everyone. It's JB coming to you from somewhere in the record sphere. If you like what you see and hear today, please subscribe and choose the notification buttons. You'll be notified when I upload new broadcasts. As always, much appreciated. This is the last of the Minneapolis Sound episodes, a deep dive into my personal collection of music artists who influenced the Minneapolis Sound. Now, outside of the first episode, where I covered the roots of the Minneapolis Sound from the 1950s to the 70s, the rest of this collection is heavily influenced by 80s funk and R&B, arguably the most popular and heavily influenced part of the Minneapolis Sound experience, though not the only genre to influence the sound, I'll admit. Artists and bands such as Bob Dylan,
the times they are changing.
The Replacements, Husker Du,
Well, could you be the one they talk about? Well, hiding inside behind another door. Well, is it only happiness you want? Just wanting a feeling better anymore.
Babes in Toyland, and even Information Society, with their industrial-sounding pop rock sensation Pure Energy, helped to shape the Minneapolis Sound. So many more bands and artists influenced the sound here. But my favorite part of the Minneapolis Sound is the 80s funk. The grooves are so infectious, so stimulating, it says something that no other music says. In the last episode of the Minneapolis Sound, we heard the story of Sue Ann Carwell and tracked some of the songs from her debut self-titled album. So today, we start in the letter T with the band Tamara and the Scene. Lead singer Tamara, whose real name is Margaret Cox, also known as Margie Cox, was born in Kenitra, Morocco, and lived there as a child, before moving to Minneapolis with her family at the age of 7. Over the span of years here in the city, she learned to play several instruments, including guitar, piano, and drums. As an adult, she started playing with Twin Cities bands such as the Doug Maynard Band and TC Jammers. Tamara also had her own band called The Scene. She was put into the national spotlight when discovered by local sensation Jesse Johnson. He helped pen a deal with A&M Records, and she, along with Johnson, who produced the album, and the other members of The Scene, fronted their debut album, which appeared in September 1985. By November of that year, they hit the charts with their single Everybody Dance, the first song on side A of the album. It's also interesting to note that in that same week, several other Minneapolis bands were in the national charts as well, including Prince with the song America and Morris Day with the Oak Tree. Tamara and the Scene's song Everybody Dance reached the Billboard charts in the top 20s by the end of the year. Unfortunately, after everybody danced, the charts weren't dancing anymore to Tamara in the Scene. Jesse Johnson did produce their second album, Blueberry Gossip, but it failed to chart, and soon after, Tamara and the Scene were released from their contract, and the band broke up. Tamara and the Scene would have to go down as one-hit wonders, but many of the band members went on to do many other great things. Margie Cox has a long-standing gig with her band, Dr. Mambo's Combo, every Sunday night at Bunkers in Minneapolis. They've been performing there for many years and continue to do so in 2024. So many great local artists perform at not just Bunkers, but all around the Twin Cities and the state. Another great band to check out if you're into R&B and funk of the cities is JB and the Routine, featuring Jelly Bean Johnson, who also perform regularly around the city. Speaking of Jelly Bean, The Time is up next with their debut self-titled album from 1981. One of the things I love about older funk, especially Minneapolis, like Prince and The Time, was you could just let a funk groove funk. If the groove was tight, they would just let it ride the wave for a while. They didn't have to sing on every note. Many of The Time's songs do it just right, including this 9-minute funk jam, Get It Up. Born in Minneapolis, frontman Morris Day had a flair for fashion. Inspired by photographs of his grandpa in zoot suits, a true fashionista was formed. Morris Day went to school with Prince Rogers Nelson and performed in Prince's first band, Grand Central. Prince grew as an artist, and so did the opportunities around him. The website Morris Day Entertainment states that The Time was originally created as Prince's alter ego to be seen as the cool, streetwise funk band, contrasting Prince's more soulful R&B sound. Morris was originally supposed to be the drummer for the band, while another rising Minneapolis star, Alexander O'Neal, was to front the band, be the lead singer, and overall pimpologist character created by Prince. But when tensions arose, refer to my second episode of the Minneapolis Sound for more information on that. Anyway, Alex was fired. It was Morris Day's turn to front the band. Initially, Morris didn't want to do it. He was told to just be cool, but Morris said he wasn't sure how to do that. From Mike Judge's Tales from the Tour Bus episode, Morris and the band tell how he went from drummer to frontman.
The deal came with some strings. Prince would put the band together and be in control of everything.
At that time, I was the drummer in this band called Flight Time. Bass was Terry Lewis. Keyboards was Jimmy Jam. Morris knew he wanted to work with us.
Alexander O'Neal from Flight Time was going to be the lead singer, and I was going to be the drummer. But Alexander wanted more paper.
Alex basically talked himself out of the group by telling Prince he needed more money and he needed a swimming pool and he needed a house and he needed all this stuff. And Prince basically was like, okay, you're done.
So we're looking for a singer, and Prince said, why don't you do it? I was like, I don't want to do it. I want to play the drums. I don't want to sing, man. I said, I've never fronted a band before, so I don't know what I would do. And he said, just put your hand in your pocket and be cool. I said, I can do that.
So you see, on the cover of the debut album, Morris has his hands in his pockets. Actually, so does everyone else, by the way, because apparently that's how cool is born.
With diamonds on my fingers, I got a couple more
just one simple rule. I'm just cool. Honey, baby, can't you see? Girl, I'm so cool.
The song Cool, as well as Get It Up and Girl, were released as singles from the album, and the first two charted high on the Billboard R&B charts, continuing to put Minneapolis on the map. Next on my list of Minneapolis Sound, we continue with The Time's influence in Ice Cream Castles from 1984, autographed by Morris Day and Jelly Bean Johnson. Oh, I really wish I could have been there when they signed this one, but I ended up buying this at an auction. Still, I'm proud to include this in my collection. Some minor band changes taking place in the production of this album, insomuch as we no longer see Monte Moore's face, but instead Paul Peterson, also known as St. Paul, on keyboards, and taking place of Terry Lewis on bass is Jerry Hubbard. Outside of a few other personnel changes, the Minneapolis Sound continued to be strong on this release, with songs that defined the band, including the song and dance heard and seen round the world on the famous Purple Rain movie, The Time's The Bird. Now, maybe it's just me, but I think The Bird looks a lot like the oak tree dance that Morris did on his solo release. And of course, who better to introduce the Jungle Love theme than Morris Day himself? I've heard it said that Prince was never afraid of a band until the creation and success of The Time. If that was true, it's rightly so. The Time was the most successful of Prince's bands. Prince's tight control over the band made sure that they could be successful, but never too successful as to overtake the Prince's throne. Even after Prince's death, control over the band name The Time continued. The legal notice for Prince's company, PRN, states that Mr. Day has no right to use or register The Time in any form, and that the Prince estate is the sole and exclusive owner of all rights involving the use of The Time. Even still, you should check out their release under their new name, The Original Seven, after they reunited for a short time in 2011. The band's still got it, and there are some pure Minneapolis funk bangers on the album. Lastly, my Minneapolis Sound collection, though not complete, certainly wouldn't be complete without this release from former Prince and the Revolution band members Wendy and Lisa, in their self-titled 1987 Columbia release. The album is produced by Wendy and Lisa as well as Bobby Z, former drummer for the Revolution. Wendy and Lisa had 3 singles released in this album: Waterfall, Sideshow, and Honeymoon Express. There's good news and bad news. The bad news? None of the singles hit the top 40 on either side of the Atlantic. The good news? That didn't stop the former Revolution band members from setting new goals and reaching audiences. They released a few more albums in the late 80s and early 90s with minor success, as well as writing for other artists and scoring for movies and television shows. They've also won several Emmys for work that they've done for TV. Well, that's going to conclude this series on the Minneapolis Sound, a look into my vinyl collection of bands that helped to shape the R&B sounds of this area. I'll continue to grow my collection, and as I do, I'll let you in on the fun. As I stated at the beginning of this episode, this music says something that no other music says. It says Minneapolis is cool in temperature as well as its music. It says our funk music can get you out of a funk. And it says, this is Minneapolis. Until next time, keep smiling and keep funkin'.